Hello everybody, welcome to this YouTube channel. My name is Grace and this is episode 3 of How to Do Energy Work, the Energy Work series. I'm so thankful you're here with me. Please check out my channel. There's lots of information on this channel. We are on episode 3, so I encourage you to check out the last 2 episodes before you watch this episode because they're kind of building on each other foundationally in terms of the information that we're going through, the evolution of like what kind of information I'm giving. In this episode, there will be some technical information discussed, but I'm also going to simplify it to a means where it's easily digestible. That's something in the spiritual community I notice a lot, is that some people are talking in like this crazy technical alternate language where very few people can understand, and then other people are not actually describing the means of what they're talking about to such a degree where it takes it to that next level. So I'm gonna mix both of them together so that hopefully we can get a mishmash of educational information in terms of the spiritual discussion, but also up-leveling it into a means of like beginner to intermediate to advanced. So yeah, welcome to this YouTube page. I'm so thankful to have you here. Please check out my website, Creational Codes, if you want to work with me deeper, if you want to check out my blog posts, the information that I share on there. And I also want to quickly note that I, as an individual, work with Christ and Christ Sophia. I work with the one true living God, and I work with the multidimensional aspects of self. Within that, I like to bridge together numerous different strands of shamanism, spiritual anatomy, spiritual texts, scripts, working with Christianity, Buddhism, shamanism, my Celtic heritage, health, vitality, the deities that have come before us, the masters, ascended masters that have come before us, all the information that is true connected to the one true living God source is what I like to connect with and weave within. So yeah, just so you know, that's my background. That's what I'm interested in. That's what these videos are kind of focused in on. And today we are talking about working with color as light, as a healing tool, as a directive, as an information packet, and also being source directed. So these are both super powerful and foundational things that we bring with us for the rest of our journey. And you know, when I say foundational, I don't mean like beginner, but I mean like foundational for that every single level you go through in your spiritual journey. We need to bring these with us because these are catalysts. These are means of expediting your ascension, your connection to self, your spirituality, your journey. So when we enter meditation and we are using color, a lot of the times color will come through if you have your vision online, or if you are very dreamy or visual in your human and mental expression. You might see colors a lot, you might get visions, you might see symbols. But colors have a deeper meaning than what we might perceive just from like the human 3D experience. Colors in the external world, once we learn about them, we can bring all of this into everything that we do, everything we see within the nature that we witness in the 3D reality, in our physical manifestation, or we can see it in the mind. And we can see it in our visions, and we can see it in our energy work, and we can see it in our field work. And in our meditations, whatever you're doing, you will start seeing these things once you start opening your mind to experiencing them. So color works as a means of light, but light can be filled with information. And as light is filled with information, it can take on different hues because this is how we receive the information. If a light came through and it was all the same white light, if it was all the same looking thing, we wouldn't be able to perceive anything new within that light. We would just think that it's the same thing over and over again. But when light takes on different colors, It carries new information. And the more you expand through this journey, the more you will see that color has many different colors within a color. So when you receive a light stream or an information packet or an informational stream of intelligence coming through, it might have hues of different colors. It might be opalescent, it might be iridescent, it might be opaque or see-through or translucent, and it might be very dimensional in how you even perceive it because there's so much information weaved within that stream of light and color. So we can use color as a directive. We can use color as a means of intentionally doing something or intentionally moving something. Because when there is energy focused anywhere, that's why light can come through, because it's, if you were to imagine that light was funneling down here or through your central spine, your central column, you would perceive that the energy would be bundled so tightly that it was emitting light because there was so much of it compacted together. That's what would create this brightness, this compact. It's like when a star explodes and it like gets so hot and bright that it just erupts. So when light comes through, it's information packed together very tightly. And when there is a lot of energy in one spot, that has the capability to move energy, to shift, or to force. We don't ever want to force, but push energy in a specific direction in order to clear, in order to support. If you have pains or aches, or you're trying to get rid of an implant or a negative energy in your field, you can push energy through that. Sometimes you are being a little bit forceful, because if it's a dense energy, you can imagine if you were hitting rock or something that was dense, like an emotion that hasn't moved for years, and you're trying to push light through it, using your breath, using intention, you're going to have to push through that more intentionally. And sometimes it can be a little bit forceful, but we never do it with intention to hurt or harm or do too much where you can't handle it. But we can use energy and light as a means of directive to move an intention through the body. So you might hear people talk about moving light through your body. And this is actually a really beautiful tool to use. And being aware of what light you're using is really important within this. So if you're moving light through your body, and maybe you have a teacher that is saying, we're moving white light through your body. You want to, as an individual, sourcing to God and yourself, and also witnessing, what your teacher is saying, what your guide or whoever you're listening to is saying. But we also want to be affirmed inside of the reality that we are what is consenting to what is entering our field. So when we're pulling in light, we can kind of change it. When you see white light, I made a video about this actually. It's called correcting white light or like something like that. But basically when white light is entering your field, we want to be informed of where that energy is coming from, where that light is sourcing from. Because everything is sourced from something. So when you are pulling in information, which is what light is, if you're pulling in receiving a signal, you need to be aware of where that signal is coming from, because you're informing your body of something, you're informing your field of something. So when you're working with a meditation or something and they say pull in white light, immediately sense, is this coming from the astral field? Is this coming from the 12th dimensions and higher? Is this coming from the 9th dimension? Is this coming from a black hole? Because all of these things exist within the multidimensional design that we are interacting with. And when we're using our spiritual bodies and we're using light and we are interacting with these fields, we have to be informed and we have to be responsible for what we are pulling into our field. So when you are pulling in light, start to inform yourself upon where that light is coming from. So how do we do this? How do we inform ourselves of where light is coming from? Like I said, light holds information. So this is where the practice of stillness comes in. This is where the practice of receiving comes in, because we need to be soft enough and still enough and like within our awareness to hear and to feel that we can decipher and discern if we like what that energy conducting our field, entering our field is, if we like what it feels like, if we enjoy where it's coming from. We don't have to hear in our head or like be super powerfully connected to like each dimension and to know where it's coming from, because this is episode 3. This is foundational. I want you to just feel what that light feels like when it enters your field. So if you're doing a meditation and you say, okay, I want to wash my field, I just want to create some space, I'm pulling in blue light. So immediately you need to notice, what does that blue light feel like? Do I like it? You can shift within this. I will say that immediately in my head, because of the teachers that I've worked with, instead of saying the word blue, I wanted to use the word aqua because aqua light is connected to the Holy Mother, and I know that in my psyche so deeply that when I pull that color and when I pull that light in, I'm immediately aware of where it's coming from. It feels good to me. It feels holy. It feels in divine devotion to my field. But when I say blue light, I'm not certain where it comes from. So you can start creating and feeling into what words feel right to you. Maybe you want to say crystal blue waters, or diamond blue light. Or if you want to use orange, you could say warm. Like, you can describe it. In my last video, I talked about how the more descriptive you are with the commandments you're saying in your field, the better it is, actually, because the more you are breaking down and being specific with what you are calling in, which is what we want. We want to be super specific. So yeah, be creative with it. In the energetic synthesis community, which I'm not a part of, but I've done a lot of her meditations, and she is someone I trust as a teacher. She recommends using like words like magenta light, gold, silver, emerald, aqua, and yeah, like we can feel into what words feel right for you. Also, iridescent is a really nice word I like using. Opalescent, diamond. You can add diamond to any color you're wanting to work with. You can connect it to the central sun if you're wanting to work with orange or yellow, the central sun, the light from the sun. Just so you can start informing your field and kind of directing where that light is coming from in a bit more specific of a way, so that we're not pulling pink light from the astral field into your field. And I'm not saying that affirmatively would be a bad thing to do, but are you informed of where that light from the astral field is coming from? Because the astral field, the 4th and 5th dimensions are and can be connected to, a playground of entities, energies that are trying to find their formations in self. It's still, a place where there isn't a higher degree of union and oneness, unity occurring in those fields. So we just need to be cautious and aware. Yeah, like I kind of mentioned, we can use light and color, because light becomes filled with color. Like I said, it becomes filled with information. We can use color and light to start to wash our fields, inform our fields, clear energies, and kind of just do a little pick-me-up when we need it. because we are conductors of electricity, of light, of the creational abundance that surrounds us. We can create on command. We are creators. So when you need to be cleaned of something, if you just went out and you're home and you're just feeling kind of like icky or stuck or a bit heavy, you can command through your field, okay, I'm pulling in diamond, aqualine, holy mother light. And you can feel it and you can kind of visualize it entering your field. And I always imagine it coming through the crown of my head down to the root and earth star chakras below my feet. And then you can also see it connecting all the way into the crystalline core of the earth, a safe place in the core of the earth. And you can imagine that as light comes through, that because it is so pure and holy and sacred, and it filters itself as it enters your field, it is moving so fast that it is like basically filtering and adjusting and alchemizing through your field as it enters. And as it exits through the bottom of the feet, it is picking up. You have to kind of be active within this. It at some points after we do it for some time, it will kind of just feel innate. But in the beginning, you can allow yourself to be interactive with this, like see it come through and ask the light for support in collecting all energy that is not yours, in correcting any misalignments in the body, any stressed muscles, any stressed cells. And you can ask that the light moves through your whole body, down your shoulders, through your whole auric field, through your whole light body field. And you can ask that that light just completely filters you right through your whole body and just lightens you up, makes you feel cleaner. And you can stay with it for as long as you want. You can ask the light to go back up, back to source, and you can ask it to go back down. You can filter it through as many times as you want. You can have it go sideways. You can draw figure 8 symbols with it. You can draw Merkabahs. You can draw diamonds with it. Whatever you're needing, you can spiral it through the heart. Like, this is where creationality really comes into play, and it feels playful and it feels abundant and it feels creational because we are interacting with a field and intelligence that wants us to play with it, that is like made for us to enjoy her beauty and her abundance and her creationality because she is co-creating with us. So to be honest, I use color mostly to wash myself clear and my auric field clear. If I am creating something, I always use color. Like, I'm very visual, so I am always using color. But when I am creating something, it is a bit more structured in how it formates itself, which can come in, you know, many different diverse ways. If you're wanting to heal something in your body or create a energetic portal of light around you, you can use golden light. Like, you can also place colors around you in your auric field, and you can direct them to different parts of your field and your body, your light body field, in order to anchor in specific frequencies that you want, or to open source portals with, or you can also use them to, like, if there's anything that you're wanting to alchemize or manifest or whatever, like, you are really allowed and gifted this playtime with color and with energy work. It's very much so like playtime. So I'm going to read a couple lines from the Biospiritual Healing course from Kathara. This is Ashiana Dean's work. It's keylontic science. I have tried to read this course numerous times. It's very packed with very technological words, information. I don't study Ashiana Dean strictly or abundantly. I have witnessed some of her information from this course I just mentioned. I have watched a couple of her videos. I'm not really that connected to her work at all, but this is very powerful information. which says that in using color and symbol to direct frequency, we are creating a pattern of energy that has a specific vibrational signature or tonal sound signature, which directly interfaces with the energetic vibrational sound signature of the manifestation template's scalar grid. So she is basically saying that when you use color, sound, or symbol, that we are creating like an information packet that we can use, that our field knows how to use. And because color and light and symbol hold vibration or hold a frequency, they can interact with our field. And she is saying through your manifest body or your Templar scalar grid, which is basically like your energy field, your multidimensional aspects of body, like all that you are is made up of scalars, and your manifestation is the manifestation of you, how you have come from nothing into something. That's your manifestation. So when we are using color, symbol, and light to direct frequency, we are interacting with these signatures of source, these signatures of creationality. This is how we play with light and sound, and it does have a science-y background that we can interact with. And it is the creation of manifestation. It is the interaction with manifestation, working with sound and light and color. So I love that because it kind of gives reference for the power of these things, these tools that we can use. And then color and symbol become the tools through which the three-dimensionally conscious mind becomes empowered to participate in conscious co-creation with the soul and higher dimensional spiritual portions of identity. Color and symbol possess power as mathematically encoded directors of scalar frequency. The ultimate effect of this directed power is the ability to affect the scalar arrangements of the manifestation template. So she is saying basically what I just said, that, you know, through these tools of color and symbol, we are encoding and directing our fields. And this is powerful because we are manifested bodies, we are manifested beings into this human form. And when we are interacting with and playing with the creationality of these human forms and our templating and how we are created and manifested and what that looks like and how we interact with that, we are tapping into the creator codes of how we participate and take full responsibility for our lives, for our creatorship, for our light body fields. So she is basically describing and giving power to the people in saying that when you work with color, when you work with symbol, when you work with light, when you work with vibration and sound, you are informing your field on a very powerful level in terms of your bio-spiritual formation of self. You are interacting with it in a co-creative way, and you are interacting with the manual of how you exist and how you form your thoughts, how your body feels, what your body is interacting with. So we can use light and color as a very powerful tool to affect our body and our spheres and our minds, especially. You know how people say that, like when you listen to music on the radio and it has a specific hertz, that it's actually affecting your body because some hertz damage the DNA and the cells in the body, and some hertz are alleviating and healing, because humans have now gotten to the point where we're using vibrations and frequencies that are not organic to nature, that are not organic to our relaxed human minds. And of course, like, nature has sounds that are not very relaxing to the human mind or to the human body, but we don't hear them all the time. So when we're hearing them constantly, it has a very degenerative effect on the body. And the same thing goes with what we're seeing, per se blue light on our screens all day, or what we're hearing, or what we're seeing, on TV, or what symbols we're shown all the time. We live in box houses. Like, all of this stuff plays a huge role in the body and the spirit. So yeah, it's just powerful to become aware of that and to take that back into our own conscious hands, is that we are the people and the beings right here, right now, that can make a change, that can become conscious of that. And that we can, in our energy work, start to facilitate healings for ourselves that are directive and guided with the intention of healing the body, healing the fields, to seal them and to clean them. One of my biggest goals in terms of my spiritual journey is purification, healing my innocence. And a big way we can do that is working with light and color, because color and light has the frequency that might feel foreign. And this is the thing too, when you do energy work and you have never experienced something that you're trying to pull into your field, whether it's love or peace or safety, if you don't know what that feels like, you can ask God to pull that light of safety into your body. And your fields will inform you of that feeling. You don't have to have it in the external reality. We can have it in the body first. We can pull it into our hearts and our minds. We can imagine what that would feel like and allow our body to heal from the inside out. It doesn't always have to be from the outside in when we're doing energy work. Sometimes it is from the inside out. Sometimes that's a better way to heal. Sometimes that's more effective, depending on who you are and what you need. So also, within all of this information, take what serves you, take what belongs to your field, take what you're ready to receive. If I'm saying something and you're like, no way, not for me, leave it here. I always recommend that you take what serves you and you crumple it up and you take what you want and you change it into your own thing. The second portion of this video, or the last bit, is about being source directed. I'm not going to jump into that right at the second, but I will in a couple minutes. But I just want to say that when a person is telling you that you should love this color, or that this chakra is this color, or that this color is connected to this, if you connect to that and you don't see that color, that's not a bad thing. That doesn't mean that you're not where everybody else is. Maybe that's, what the ego would say, or the wounded aspect would say, or the false teachers would say. But in truth, we're all having different experiences. We're all going to receive different information packets. Like I said, we're all having and receiving light color as information. So what information are you receiving is going to be depicted upon you and what you are ready to receive and what you need to receive at that time. So specific groups of people might see the same color because they're in the same resonance or timeline, and the collective consciousness might come into agreement that one chakra is this color at this point in time, because that's where we're all at, and we all agree that that makes sense to us, that feels good, that feels right. Does that mean that forever, infinity, and beyond that chakra is going to stay that color? No. And we have everything is so fluid. Like, if you see in the I was listening to a meditation, and Lisa Renee was saying that some people were witnessing their root chakra, which is normally depicted as red, turning pink, and that numerous people were experiencing this. So it wasn't like, oh, am I going crazy? My root chakra's turning pink. What's happening to me? It was a curiosity. It was okay, this is interesting. New information coming in. My body is shifting. My spiritual body is shifting. Maybe even away from the collective consciousness of what this chakra looks like. So we can give full grace to that is so beautiful and so powerful. And I'm not here to tell you exactly what is right for you. I'm here to tell you what I have learned And I'm here to give a very generalized idea of how to work with this information and this light, and how to empower yourself to make your own decisions as your own creator being inside of this reality. Now, as I say that, there are truths, there are collective agreements, there are universal laws. Doesn't mean that I'm in agreement that everybody gets to do whatever the fuck they want to do because it's la-di-da, it's my reality. I'm saying that you have the empowerment to choose what God is informing you of. So what does God want you to receive within this color? What does God want you to receive within your healing? That's not for me to tell you. I highly recommend that you only source to self. And the empowerment of that is that you do not give anybody the right to tell you what is your truth, to tell you what is higher than God's truth for you. So this isn't about being egotistical. This isn't about being right or wrong. This is about giving your will to God and allowing that source to direct you, and the empowerment that comes with that, the divine grace and abundance that comes when we source directly to God is in abundance, because God is abundant. So when we abide by the laws of God, we inherently become creator, source, as self, and we inherently become in divine accordance to abundance as God's child. So being source directed means you source from self solely. And this is a practice, in society and in the human psyche, we are very programmed to idolize people, idolize specific roles, or the human psyche wants to place somebody on a pedestal because that feels organic and right to us. So we need to put God on that pedestal, and then comes us listening. Not some singer in Hollywood or some actor in Hollywood or some persona that we think is cute or popular or will give us favor. We should place ourselves upon the throne of abundance and vitality by listening to God and being God's servant, and then being given everything that God wants for us because we are in service. That's just what I think. This is also about taking responsibility. I do have a lot of videos on my channel about being source directed and taking self-responsibility. But being source directed, also means that you are using your healing, your energy work, your light field work as a means to get closer to God, and that you're sourcing it from self. So even when we have a lot of information coming at us from different teachers, different idols, different philosophies, different religions, we can take from everything that serves us, everything that feels right and holy to us. We can just take bits and pieces. Doesn't mean we have to say, I am this and I agree to this completely. I agree to the whole thing. You could just say, I really like this idea that is coming from this stream of consciousness, and I'm just gonna take that little piece of it, and I'm just gonna say thank you for allowing me to receive that. Doesn't mean we have to sign up and consent to the whole group of what that is, because that can also be dangerous, specific groups sometimes like to make you sell your soul to what they stand for, and that's not something you ever have to do. You can just say, no, I actually just wanted to witness that, and I just wanted to take information that served me, and I'm good now, I'm done. So you don't have to, abide by anything specifically. If you want to be a part of a group, if you like a lot of the times too, that's why people end up being a part of groups even if they don't believe with the full ideology of it or the belief systems in it. Is that people just want to have community and they want to feel connected, and you can do that. You don't have to put yourself in a situation where you're agreeing to something that is not true for you. There are so many niche groups online. I have a group of friends that I just feel so connected to, and that's my tribe. And you can call these people in. You can have a small community that serves you because you're all on the same page. And even within that group, you don't have to be exactly on the same page with them. You can just be like, I love the vibes in this group and it feels holy to me, but I also know I'm on an individual, separate journey. And that makes me feel liberated because I know that my experience is destined to be its own sacred individual thing. I'm not co-signing to what everybody else is agreeing to. 100% you source to self. I source all my information from self. I source all my information. I double check the facts from source and God and self. So that is what empowers you, is that you remember that you're intelligent. You remember that you're divine. You remember that you are sacred and holy, and that what you need to receive is ready for you when you're ready for it. So I thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for being here with me. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to this channel if you watched the whole thing, if you enjoy this content. Episode 4 will probably be about dimensions and quantumality, and I'm just trying to dive into like more topics that would be of service to the population that is watching these videos. So if you're at this point, please let me know below what you would like to receive information-wise, what you would like me to dive into, to teach, or to share on in my own personal experience, my own evolution. This is episode 3, so I'm so thankful that we're like heading on this trajectory of expansion together. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that this served you, and I thank you so much, and I hope and pray that you have a beautiful rest of your day.